Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. Look, we're tackling something absolutely crucial today. A step that honestly gets overlooked way too often, but it's vital for protecting your home and, let's be real, your wallet. We're talking about verifying a contractor's license in the state of Utah. If you're gearing up for a renovation, maybe a repair, or even a major new build, this is hands down the most important 10 to 15 minutes you can spend before you sign a single piece of paperwork.
So, let me ask you a pretty high-stakes question to kick things off. Does your contractor's license, or even their overall financial stability, actually matter to you? It's kind of wild how many consumers out there think it doesn't. We hear homeowners say stuff all the time like, well, I'm just hiring them to lay some tile. I'm not hiring them for their credit rating or their fancy paperwork. But guys, that misconception can lead to an absolute disaster. The second they step onto your property, your contractor's legal and financial standing becomes entirely your problem.
To give you a real sense of just how often things go south, take a look at the staggering statistic. Back in 2012, a massive 41.1% of the entire disciplinary workload for Utah's licensing division was dominated strictly by construction license issues. Think about that for a second. Financial instability, people abandoning projects halfway through, unlicensed work, these aren't just rare one-off anomalies. They're incredibly common problems that state regulators are out there battling every single day.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real nightmare scenario here. The risks of hiring unlicensed workers are just terrifying. You aren't just risking, a leaky pipe or some shoddy drywall work. You are risking massive financial exposure. For instance, unlicensed contractors are actually behind over 20% of all Better Business Bureau complaints. And it gets worse. If you hire an unlicensed contractor and they decide not to pay their suppliers or their subcontractors, you actually lose your state protections. You could be hit with what's called a mechanic's lien. That literally means you could be legally forced to pay for the exact same materials or labor twice. Nobody wants that.
So here's our quick roadmap for this explainer so you know exactly where we're headed. 1. The stakes. 2. Meet DOPL. 3. Preparation and search. 4. Interpreting results. 5. Red flags and tips. And 6. A quick disclaimer.
All right, let's jump into Section 1, the stakes.
The rules in Utah are actually super specific when it comes to who needs a license. If you're hiring someone for a minor repair and the total cost of the job, and that's labor and materials combined, by the way, is under $3,000, no license is legally required. It's just considered handyman work. Now, there is also a specific handyman exemption that allows for unregistered work up to $7,000, but that comes with some very strict conditions. But here's the kicker. Anything over that threshold, or honestly any work involving critical systems like your electrical or plumbing, requires a fully licensed contractor with no financial cap. And if a contractor violates these rules, they can face civil penalties of up to $10,000 per violation for repeated misconduct. So yeah, the state does not mess around.
Moving right along to Section 2, Meet DOPL.
Meet the hero of our story today, DOPL. That stands for the Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing, and they operate right under the Utah Department of Commerce. Basically, they are your primary shield against fraudulent contractors. And DOPL is a pretty robust organization. They operate with a $7.7 million budget, they've got 96 full-time employees, and they actively manage over 190,000 active licenses across the whole state. Their entire mission is to establish professional competence, process those licenses, and most importantly for us, investigate and discipline anyone engaging in unlawful conduct. Okay, Section 3, Preparation and Search. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is just how easy the state makes it for you to protect yourself.
Before you even sit down at your computer, you've got to gather just a little bit of basic information from your contractor. Just ask them for their official bid or maybe grab a business card. What you're looking for is their exact first and last name, their official registered business name, or LLC, and best case scenario, you want their actual license number. Oh, and here's a cool little pro tip for you. In Utah, standard contractor licenses typically end in the digits 5501.
Once you've got that info in hand, the whole search process literally takes less than 2 minutes. Step 1, just pull out your phone or hop on your computer and visit dopl.utah.gov. Step 2, right there on the homepage, click the big button that says Verify a License. Step 3, type in the name, the business, or that license number you gathered. Step 4, check out the license status that pops up on the screen. And finally, Step 5, make sure you scroll down to verify their trade classifications. It's a super intuitive database, and it was designed specifically for consumers just like you to use easily.
All right, Section 4, Interpreting Results.
So just finding a record isn't quite enough, right? You've got to know how to actually read the data it spits back at you. The absolute most critical piece of information here is the status. The magic word you want to see is active. That means they are fully compliant, they're insured, and they're totally clear to work. But if you see words like expired, suspended, or revoked, stop immediately. Red alert. They are legally prohibited from doing licensed work. If you hire a contractor with an expired license, you completely nullify your legal protections, like the Residence Lien Recovery Fund, which exposes you to those devastating double payment liabilities we talked about earlier.
Now, you might also come across a status that says active on probation. So DOPL actually updated their system recently, and they no longer distinguish between restricted active and active on probation. Now they all just say active on probation. If you see this, well, the license is technically valid, sure, but it means the contractor has a disciplinary history and some board-imposed conditions hanging over them. You absolutely need to check the public record on DOPL's site to find out exactly what those conditions are before you move forward.
So the crucial point here is also verifying their classification. Listen, just because someone has an active license does not mean they're suddenly qualified to build your entire house. You must scroll down to that classification section. An active plumbing license, for example, absolutely does not authorize that person to do your structural framing or your roofing. You always have to ensure their specific license type perfectly matches the exact scope of your project.
Section 5, red flags and tips. Let's get into the practical stuff.
You've got to be on a high alert to spot the shady operators before any money changes hands. Watch out for out-of-state storm chasers. You know, the guys who knock on your door right after severe weather and try to push those high-pressure same-day signing tactics on you? Another huge red flag in the industry right now is seeing a contractor who rapidly creates multiple LLCs. Some of these guys do this to classify their workers as owners just to illegally sidestep paying workers' compensation and payroll taxes. It's super shady. Also, if they refuse to put their license number on the contract, or they won't show you proof of insurance, or worst of all, they demand 100% of the payment up front, just walk away. Immediately.
To make sure your project actually goes smoothly and your bank account stays intact, just follow these golden rules, straight from the Utah Department of Commerce. Always get at least 3 written bids so you can compare market rates. Call and check at least 3 separate references from their former customers. Always demand a detailed, written contract before any work starts. Never, ever make a massive down payment, and absolutely hold on to your final payment until the job is 100% finished to your complete satisfaction.
And finally, Section 6, Disclaimer.
Just a quick wrap-up note. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes to empower you with the right framework. While we've given you a really comprehensive guide based on official state protocols, you still have to personally verify your specific contractor. Always perform your own direct due diligence using the live official state database over at dopl.utah.gov.
So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to verify before you commit? Honestly, taking just 2 short minutes to run a quick search can save you thousands of dollars and months of absolute legal nightmares. We would absolutely love to hear about your experiences with this. Have you ever caught a major red flag just by looking up a license? Share your stories down in the comments, and make sure you subscribe for more structured, step-by-step explainers just like this one. Thanks so much for learning with us today, and definitely stay protected out there.